Hola, and welcome back to TMI Toko. This is episode 1 of season 3. I'm glad you guys decided to come back, share, grow, and as I expressed last time, you had homework. You had a week to create a fresh start for yourself, to really envision who you want to be, and then get ready for the change. Get ready for you to really push out these last couple of months. And I know I'm about to do that. So I want you to do the same. I want you to, everything that you put on your list, I want you to be able to accomplish everything that you felt God put in your soul. I want you to be able to do. So I'm going to hold you accountable. And in this season, we're talking about resistance right off the back, because I know you had some, and I know you're going to have some. So we're going to put in some systems. We're going to talk about it a little bit. Get ready. Let's go. Hey, beautiful people, and welcome to TMI Toko. We're here. We'll create, learn, and enjoy, and get to experience you. Let everything show you, elevate your power. You are in control. Where comfort meets uncomfortability, marry your greatness and your potential, because as all things, and I hope that you always remember, you got this.
Didn't I tell ya? When we make it, they make it, we make it. Dream chasing, yeah. Didn't I tell ya? All these blessings piling up, headed to the top, yeah. Didn't I tell ya? No worries, stepping over, acting a cool Willie. Didn't I tell ya? Lady Toko on a roll, TKO, he'll do it for ya. Didn't I tell ya? Didn't I tell ya? Didn't I tell ya? I told you we can't fall back, yeah. Didn't I tell ya?
Welcome back. Yes. We are back in effect, and as I said, we're talking about resistance. And I don't know if you've seen my Instagram post. I posted consistency produces results, or results are a product of consistency. And that is what my resistance was. My resistance was showing up anyway. Showing up even though I don't feel like it. It don't sound right, don't look right. The weather ain't right, my hair ain't right, the whatever it was, I still had to be consistent. And not because I just knew once I showed up I was gonna get results, but because I needed to be consistent. I needed to commit to myself. I need to commit to what I wanted. How can I not commit to me but then expect somebody else to commit to me or my dreams and my visions or be a part of my team? So I had to be in that in which I wanted. So in that, the word resistance came up. And I'll tell you the story of how it came up. So in my quiet time at night, I've gotten off of my schedule, and in my quiet time, the word consistency came up, and then the word resistance came up. And I was thinking that was just about my workouts, because if you don't know, I've been trying to get this body to get back together. I've been trying to push myself a little bit more than I usually do, because I usually just do like kind of my yoga, my Pilates, kind of just stay toned. But I've had gains the last couple of months because I wanted a certain body type, so I gained, so then I can tone out. So that toning part, when I was 140, 139, I could do, because it was already, my body was already cutting. It wasn't as much fat. But with that excess weight, it required me to do some different things. I was already eating different. Now I had to work out a little different. So I pulled in some support. I pulled in a personal trainer that helped me. And I'm thinking when I don't feel, I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go do a workout. And that's not in my home. That's 30 minutes away. Now, we all know working out is a thing, but then you got to drive 30 minutes away to even get that workout. Sis, it'd be a push. And I can get up in the morning and do my routine. But that's because all my routine be right in my house. But now, I got to do a little bit different. And I hope in me sharing this, you see kind of spaces in your life where you see that you're having to go beyond your comfort zone, go beyond what worked for you in the past, go beyond something that you're familiar with, but you're asking for or requiring something different that you've never done before. So that's going to require everything out of your comfort zone to be tapped into, to be explored. So in that, I'm like, okay, that word came up. I'm like, consistent. So that means when it's time to wake up in the morning, girl, get up. Make it. I don't care. You got to go. So I'm just thinking this in my workout. It came to do this podcast. I'm like, why am I doing this podcast? Like, I like speaking. The camera comes on. I'm showing up. At first when I did the podcast, the first season, it was because through my journey of healing, I became mute. I am an introvert. So I do really good in front of people. I'm a people person. I love people, but I also have to regroup and love my space. So I got into a space where I was a total introvert. Like, I didn't want to go nowhere. I didn't want to do nothing. I didn't want to talk to people. I was a little bit shy before, but I was a lot shy now. Like, just that's all you was getting from me. So I knew, regardless if somebody was listening, regardless of whatever accolades you get with a podcast or whatever, I knew I was growing. Because I was speaking, I was talking, I was sharing something that I had been scared for so long to do. And I was healing all the stuff that I was giving, I needed, and I was only giving that which I could chew on. Second season came. I'm like, okay, I'm doing something different. I'm tapping into systems. Now I'm a system person. I wasn't a system person. I was just a goal, like, where if I want to do something, I'm like, boom. But in that healing season, I got to strategically do stuff. I wrote stuff out. I planned stuff. I creatively put systems in place in my life that seemed like they were all over the place. But in the second season of this podcast, I saw the fruit of why I was that way, why I loved creatively planning this or doing that, or structurally making things work for my life and the people around me. This season, I'm like, God, what we doing this season? Where's the fruit? Where's going to be the fruit? And the bad part is, your girl ain't even did episode 1. Where the fruit? Where the fruit? Why are we doing this, God? What are we learning this time? But I misjudged my seasons, and I always recalibrate. I'm hoping I'm saying that word right. When I get into new spaces, new seasons, new people, I always kind of see, okay, what is this? And for a while, at the beginning of figuring out what this is, so I can best put the best practices in place and manage those seasons to get the most out of that season, it's a little bit all over the place. So now that I'm in a new season, that new season happened right at the cusp of me, like, okay, I'm going back into doing this podcast because I know people are going to need this. But when it set in, and I thought about, dang, I was saying that for season 1 and season 2, but I needed it. So I wasn't really worried about, for real, if people needed it or not. If they came, if they watched, if they showed up, I wasn't worried about it. Because I was like, I'm growing. I'm reaping from, I need me. So me talking was helping me. Everything that I expressed, I needed. My growth is a little different now. I feel like I've hit like kind of a peak to healing a lot of things, and I've been in such a healing season for the last 5 years since I moved back, that I'm like, okay, I've tapped into everything. I wrote the book about my healing, God. I've tapped into what I thought maybe was daddy issues, or I'm building relationships with, and stepping out of my comfort zone. I'm I've managed how to kind of show up as a mom, and I'm always able to, reconstruct or figure it out, or it doesn't take me, a whole season of a podcast to really do whatever is needed right now. And as I'm telling you this, I'm hearing that now it's time to show up. It's no more room for growth and figuring it out and planning it out and structuring out. You've been doing that the last 2 seasons. You've been doing that. And if you have been taking that journey, use this as a sign that now it's time to show up. Now it's time to put all fears, all worries, all ifs, ands, or buts, and now do, be. You've been becoming for a while. You know yourself pretty much. You second guess yourself, but you really actually know yourself. You know yourself. You know what you need. When you get those moments to actually sit down and be like, okay, I really need to work out. Okay, I really need to eat better. Okay, I really need to get some sleep. Okay, your girl really need a vacation. Okay, it's time for me to settle down. You know what you need. But you've been resisting. You've been resisting your own growth. You've been resisting your own light. You've been dimming it. You've been, for good reasons, you've been healing. You've been trying to figure it out. You've been living your best life. You've been, but now it's really time to really step into who you know you're supposed to be, not who I tell you you're supposed to be, not who your mama, your granddaddy, your uncle's cousin / auntie, baby daddy cousin told you need to be. But you know it. You know what you need to do in this world. You know how you need to show up for what you want. But you've been resisting. So, this episode, your homework, after I've set that whole spiel and hopefully you grab the nuggets in it and me sharing my story or everything that I've shared, that you see that it's time for you to really, really be. You've become. You've learned. You've grown. You have enough. You have enough up until this point to really step into who you were called to be. You have enough. That's what I have to tell myself. And I know if you're meeting me at this point, it's not by chance. You do not come into anything by chance. There's a reason. There's a season. There's a purpose for it all. So if you're able to come to this 11 minutes in this video, this is your call to be. You've become. Now be. Show up. Stop dimming your light. Not because, in a negative way, like I said, but just because you're just trying to figure it out and trying to put your feet on stable grounds. But you've done enough. And God is telling you, be. No more resisting. No more resisting your own growth. Step into all of it. All the uncomfortable spaces. If you don't know, on Instagram, I'll be having my shoulder ministry. I gotta, okay. I digress. But no, stop resisting. What is life calling you to be? What is life calling you to do? Is it calling you to love, to be more compassionate, to be kind, to be bold, to be courageous? Everything in your life right now is showing you who and how you need to show up. Even if it's bad. I won't share that, but even some bad seasons in my life were not an opportunity for me to become bitter, but to show a little bit more compassion for others and their stories and why they may be the way they are. That it was not about me, even though the things were hurting or happening to me, it was for me to show up differently. I thank you guys for tuning in, tapping in. Yes. Work. Follow me on Instagram, Toko Watson. That was my drums. And Toko Watson. And then Facebook, Toko Watson. On YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts. Apple Podcasts is still, there's hope. I'm not sure. I haven't been able to figure out how to do that. So if you know how to do that, where it changed your name, I've changed it all on SoundCloud, and that's usually how the stuff goes over to Apple Podcasts. But if you know how to figure that out, okay, shoot your girl a DM. And if not, until then, you got this. I'm rooting for you. Stop resisting. Step into who you're becoming. And I welcome you guys back on next Thursday. TMI Toko, TMI Toko, TMI Toko. You got this. TMI Toko, TMI Toko. You got this. Told you them shoulders be ready. Bye.
Yeah, all these blessings piling up, headed to the top, yeah. Didn't I tell ya? No worry, stepping over, acting a cool Willie. Didn't I tell ya? Lady Toko on the road, TKO, he'll do it for ya. Didn't I tell ya? Didn't I tell ya? Didn't I tell ya? I told you we can't fall back, yeah. Didn't I tell ya? I told you no mouse in cat ride. Didn't I tell ya? No more or less allowed, keep on moving, yeah. Didn't I tell ya? You can be anything you want it to be, yeah, yeah. Didn't I tell ya?